So this second thing is Swadyo Yenadbhuta Madhurima. He wanted to understand the wonderful sweet qualities in him that Radharani relishes, that she tastes. And that's also mentioned in this Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nadi Lila, chapter 4. There's a nice reference, verse 139. This book is really quite wonderful, Chaitanya Charitamrita. There's further elaboration on this same verse. Where Krishna is saying, he's speaking here, further elaboration. That was in the beginning of the chapter, and then later the verses are more elaborated. Vishay Jatiya Sukha Amara Aswad Amahaite Koti Gun Ashrayar Alad. Like Prahlad, Alad. Krishna is saying, I taste the bliss to which the object of love is entitled, but the pleasure of Radha, the abode of that love, is 10 million times greater. So Krishna is saying, I'm the enjoyer, and Radha is the enjoyed. I'm the Vishay, the subject, and Radharani is the object. She's the Ashray. I'm Prem Vishay, and she's Prem Ashray. So she is trying to do everything to please me and satisfy me, and not considering anything for herself. But I am observing that the pleasure that she's deriving by the alad, or by just dedicating herself to me absolutely and unequivocally, she's actually deriving 10 million times greater pleasure. So what Krishna is saying here is that the servant of the Lord, that the one who's serving the Lord, he's getting 10 million times more pleasure than the recipient of the service. Well, this is quite astounding. If you ask the slaves in in America during the when they're rowing the boat, are you getting 10 million times more pleasure than the captain who's whipping you with his whip? In the Greek days, slaves would be under the hold of the boat, rowing the boat or something. Oh yes, I feel like I'm getting 10 million times. No, the Krishna is saying this, and then he says, Ashraya Jatiya Sukha Payate Manadhai Jatne Ashwadite Nari Kikari Upai. He's saying, Krishna is saying, my mind races to taste the pleasure experienced by the ashray, the abode of love. But I cannot taste it, even by my best efforts. How may I taste it? It's like I see that you're eating some ice cream. So Krishna is telling that my mind, I see that Radharani, I see you eating all this ice cream, and you're saying, And I'm thinking, my mind is thinking, oh, you seem like you're having a good time. You're enjoying that ice cream. So my mind has become attracted, and my mind is racing. Oh, how are you experiencing that ice cream? But how can I taste it? I can't taste it. My mind is thinking and understanding and appreciating what experience you're having from tasting that ice cream. And I'm also very interested. But how can I taste it? Unless I become you and eat that ice cream, how can I taste it? Kabu jadi jay premara haye ashray tabe a premanandar anubhavahai. If I sometime, kabu means you say kabi, and kabi, so they say kabu. If I can, kabi, or sometime, if I can be the abode of that love, only then I may taste it. So this is what this verse is saying, these three reasons why Krishna came. Eta chinti rahe Krishna parama kotuki, hridaye bhadaya prema loba ducky. That sounds pretty ducky. Daka means davanala. It comes from this davanala, means blazing. Thinking in this way, Eta Chinti, Krishna was curious to taste Radha's love. His eager desire. Kotuki. Parama Kotuki. Kotuki, supremely curious. Prema Lob. His eager desire for that love increasingly blazed in his heart. Prema Lob Ducky. Ducky. That's the word. Ducky. Interesting. So that's blazing. So this is Lob. His heart was full of greed for Radharani to understand. What is the Radha Pranaya Mahima, what is it? Krishna's greedy to understand the glory of Radharani's love, and then he's greedy to relish the Madhurima, the Adbhuta Madhurima. That is one desire. Now hear of another. And this is what I was speaking about. Eka Shuna Ara Lobera Prakar Samadhurya Deki Krishna Karena Vichar. Now hear of another desire, which is this one I'm discussing, Adbhuta Madhurima, the Krishna's own sweetness. Seeing his own beauty, Krishna began to consider. Then there's the pastime. And it's explained that this is once when Krishna was in Dwarka. In Dwarka there's many very, they're beautiful little, inside the middle of the room there's little pools, a little like waterfall or some little water collected in a little pool in the middle of the room, cooling the room in the ancient palaces. And one day Krishna was sitting there, and there were some lotuses in that pool, and then there was a skylight above it, so light would come in, and very beautiful, fancy designs. Vishvakarma, the architect of the demigods, designed the place, so he knows what he's doing. It's all according to Vastu and worked out on the computer ahead of time. So Krishna's sitting there by this pool, and is admiring the beauty of the lotus, of course, that she created. And then he looked into the water, and in the reflection of the water, he saw this beautiful blue person, an extraordinary blue complexion and lotus eyes rivaling the lotus flower growing in that pool, and beautiful pearly white teeth. And he said, "Oh, who is this? So, who is this person? I'm very attracted to this person. I would like to meet this person. Who is this person?" And then Rukmini came and saw Krishna was looking at it and himself, and even talking. He was so enamored and so bewitched that he started talking to this person in the water, and she was curiously watching. And she said, "Oh my Pranavallabha. Oh my Pranavallabha. Oh Dwarkadish. Who are you speaking to? What? Oh!" And he came out of his reverie and said, "Oh, I saw this beautiful man in the water, and I was so attracted." So Krishna is even attracted to, he's all attractive, even he attracts himself. He's not a narcissist either. There's something called narcissism, isn't it? Where someone is like absorbed in their own beauty. They just look in the mirror all day long.
Right.
It's called narcissist. Okay. I haven't said the word in probably 20 years. But it's not. You can't accuse Krishna of being this either, because the nature of Krishna's beauty, because he's transcendental, it actually is changing every minute. And he's always newer and newer. It's called Nava Yovanam. At every second, at every minute, his beauty increases and becomes more attractive and more sweet and more charming and more beautiful. So maybe he looked in the mirror before he went out walking around the palace, and he combed his hair, and he said, "Oh, there I am. I'm pretty. I'm beautiful." Then he left. So he wasn't much paying attention. Then when he looked in the water, that's a few minutes had gone by. Now he has a new feature, and the water became a mirror. But then he didn't realize it was him, because he didn't recognize, who is this? I don't recognize you. So now that leads us to this next verse. Adbhuta ananta purna mora madhurima tri jagate ihar kea nahi payasimha. Krishna is telling, my sweetness is wonderful, infinite and full. No one in the three worlds can find its limit. E prema dware nitya radhika ekali amara madhuri yamrita ashwade sakali. Only Radhika, by the strength of her love, tastes all the nectar of my sweetness. So this is the second reason, or second form of spiritual greed, that Krishna became greedy to understand. What is this? Understand the wonderful, sweet qualities in him that Radharani is tasting. So he was thinking, as it's mentioned here, what is my beauty?